into a massive wave, then it would hit land. So the size of these waves would almost have to start off basically in the bottom of the ocean so that the bulge could actually reach to the heights that the movie was depicting. And when we saw the cruise ship get upturned, that was actually a false thing too, because basically in the middle of the ocean is the safest place for a tsunami, because you would not be able to feel it at all. It'd just be a regular wave. Now let's talk about the Yellowstone. Yellowstone, this was probably one of the most difficult scenes to watch, because when Yellowstone was scene was happening, it looked like nuclear bombs was going off because it had the shock waves. The shock waves actually were Hollywood, because there wouldn't be 3 shock waves at most. I would say probably 1, because the initial explosion itself would have been the shock wave. And then when John Cusack was running away from the eruption, dodging these fiery rock bombs and the lahar, and old-fashioned RV, mind you, that's also not plausible, because the lahar travels a lot faster, gets up to about 100 miles an hour sometimes. And I'm pretty sure at Yellowstone it would be very magnified, because Yellowstone itself is a hot spot and a super volcano. So it would be an eruption that no human would be able to depict or understand what's happening, because the one piece of information that they got right about it was that the ash cloud itself would reach DC in 7 hours, which is because of the prevailing winds would carry it that far. And in about basically a day, the ash cloud went the whole way around the world and engulfed and blocked out the sun for basically Earth as we know it, which would kill all the plants because it wouldn't have any sunlight, and then it would eventually suffocate us. Let's get back to the Yellowstone scene when John Cusack's actually now running away from the lahar to catch the plane. He actually gets into the plane, and the plane gets engulfed by the lahar, and somehow the plane emerges out of the cloud. Another thing that would be untrue, because the lahar would actually clog up the plane's engines right off the get-go, because it's just ash and hot. So like the plane would almost start melting almost. So like anything that would have been plastic on that, like the wheels would have been starting to melt. So like the plane would have not been able to take off. I forgot to talk about Africa. How could I forget about Africa? Africa, at the end of the movie, gets lifted up out of thin air, basically. Might as well call it thin air, because the tectonic plates aren't present, remind you. And we would see Africa almost as high or higher than the Himalayas, because the Himalayas were engulfed by water from the tsunamis. And basically this is a depiction of life restarting, and historians say that life started in Africa, so it makes sense for them to restart life in Africa again. So that basically depicts the movie 2012, explaining some of the bad sciences and why it could not take place the way that they depicted, and they basically Hollywood a lot of the science. Thank you.